Hey, Chris Liepe here. Thank you all so much for your response to my vocal analysis and first-time reaction to Dimash Stranger. I am pleased to bring you the same for Sinful Passion.
Как из лунного сна. О, если б знала ты, что мне нужна, только ты одна. Ливни долгие лили, были ночи без сна. Но в стуже сердце озарило, как весна. Только ты одна. Дай мне долгим огнем пылать в Англии мне насте.
I have to go back and talk about his initial posture here.
Ты явилась нежданно, как из лунного сна.
It's like this sing-sigh, but he's got so much control that not only is his pitch fantastic, but he's not dumping too much breath, so he's still got enough stamina and supply to have sustain with his voice. Listen through with that perspective here.
О, если б знала ты, что...
Oh, there's no breathiness there. There's an entrance with fry. Oh, but then he goes back into that raspy. It is more of a rasp than it is just dumping air. I think that's the key to understanding the brilliance of this sound and the accessibility of it.
О, если б знала ты, что мне нужна, только ты одна.
No. Now, in that last exit, he is disengaging his chords and releasing the remaining breath. But what we primarily hear him doing is using really good chord closure and laying that rasp over the top, not dumping all your air with partial chord closure. This is why we simultaneously hear a rich, confident yet calm, quiet voice and all that wonderful breathy texture. If it wasn't that way, it would just sound weak. Versus Now, I'm nowhere near as developed as Dimash, but you get the point. Oh, he moderates that balance so well.
Ночью и днем сгорать в костре грешной страсти.
Now, an interesting thing to experiment with your own voice here would be to take that note that's so well supported and articulated, what he's doing there, and go back and forth between the two postures that he's been using. So you could go and I'm not changing my chord closure. I'm just mildly constricting above my primary chords. To change things up.
Ночь замкнула ресницы.
Same thing It's so beautiful.
Забыты звуки, руки, лица. Мне нужна только ты одна.
Now, everything I've been talking about is exponentially more difficult when you start getting up into head voice or upper chest voice and still maintaining that quiet dynamic, good chord closure with healthy breathiness or healthy rasp. Absolutely incredible.
Околдован тобою, выпью зелье до дна, и ты вернешь меня из бездны в этот мир, только ты одна.
Gotta go back and listen to just that little articulation that he did there. I love that. Hear how he flipped into his head voice for just a second? He not only chirped into his head voice, but he moved the placement of that note via the vowel forward right before he chirped. Open the note, open the vowel, and then abandon into your head voice. So cool. So simple and subtle. Brightening into a toy. Ugh. Sorry, I have to say something about that. Notice how he starts big there and then shrinks the note. Oh, heavy in the beginning, light at the end. He starts in chest voice, seamlessly blends over into head voice. Again, super advanced stuff here, but he makes it sound so incredibly easy and puts it in such a musical, subtle way. Dimash has such an incredibly honed skill set that it can almost be overwhelming and definitely intimidating if you're a vocalist to try to do even a fraction of what you hear him doing. But as I've shown you a little bit so far, it's not so much about going from here to here as much as it is paying attention to nuances and experimenting with your own voice in a playful way. You can learn a ton from doing this, and I can help you do this and develop your voice in a freeing and non-judgmental way if you join my free voice course, linked in the pinned comment or the video description. And the rasp at the end starts in chest, goes to head. Now, a couple of you pointed out in my last Dimash vocal analysis that where I thought he was using whistle, he was still in his head voice. And with that framework, I have never heard a head voice that seamless, well-developed support. It has everything, and it's so grounded in his flawless technique, and the way he shapes the tone is so brilliantly deceptive. But I hear what you guys are talking about. At the very end, that last note, it was a bit too big to be a whistle note. I agree. And you hear it in the delay, actually. There's this brashness and brightness to it that screams head voice, not whistle. It's in the exit. It sounds like an otherworldly instrument more than a vocal. Oh my. Gotta go back and hear all that again. And point something out here. That is the same technique I was talking about before, where he's moving the resonance around of the note and then abandoning into his head voice, like chirping up there. But he gets to the point where he's doing it just otherworldly fast right there, and it's just blowing my mind. That I can wrap my head around. It's still difficult and takes some practice. But trying to go faster and with such precision. Will take some work. Incidentally, if you want to develop kind of a cool scream, you can mess this technique up. And get that sort of sound, but that's it for another video. I like how he moves around. Oh, I love that. You have this simultaneous abandon and controlled nature. It brings you home at the same time. You're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. There's bluesiness and there's soul to it. And the articulation and agility, never heard anything like it. Never. What makes this passage even more compelling to me is to listen for how he adjusts his tone and vocal weight. This is strategic and rehearsed as he goes higher. He's darker when he's lower, and then as he goes further and further up into that wonderfully supported mix, lots of singers will try to maintain the same kind of weight as they go higher, 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 higher. And that just doesn't work. It causes tension. They think they need to be powerful, so they need to have the same. But he has no qualms about feeling out a different vocal posture for going higher. Higher, higher, higher. Notice it gets thinner, brasher, brighter, to the point where it sounds like a violin instead of a voice up there. But this is the foundation of it. Being willing to adjust your placement as you go higher and not being married to any one sort of tonality. So connected. And it's still very well supported, and there's a lot of depth to it. It's not thin, it's brasher, and it is thinner than down here. And the fact that he can go into those runs too, just I like how he closed it there, the ooh at the end. Listen to that. That was brilliant. The O and the ooh, he's sort of softened. Absolutely incredible. Yeah, you deserve all those flowers. Now, listen to his voice there. It's just his speaking voice. He's up in this pitch. Right? It's not a note, but he's talking up there. You can tell that his singing voice and his speaking voice are so incredibly intertwined that even his speech oozes music, oozes notes, even when he's just haphazardly, thanking the crowd. And I think that, for any singer, should be a goal. Start trying to musicify your speaking voice as a tool to help you be more comfortable when you're singing. A lot of the things that he's doing are the result of those two worlds colliding. If you have an awareness of a dynamic and range-filled speaking voice, you'll be able to do a lot more freely with your singing voice. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure you've checked out my other Dimash reaction. There's more coming. I'm building a list. I'm on a kick. And again, if you would like more help developing your voice with freedom and non-judgment and all sorts of fun, click that link below and join my free course. We'll see you for more.